All right. Well, you've got your diamonds and you've got your pretty clothes, and the chauffeur drives your car. You let everybody know, but don't play with me, 'cause you're playing with fire. Your mother, she's an heiress, owns a block in St. John's Wood, and your father be there with her if he only could. But don't play with me, 'cause you're playing with fire. The old man took her diamonds and tiaras by the score. Now she gets her kicks in Stepney, not in Knightsbridge anymore. So don't play with me, 'cause you're playing with fire. Now you've got some diamonds, you will have some others, but you better watch your step, girl, or start living with your mother. So don't play with me, 'cause you're playing with fire. So don't play with me, 'cause you're playing with fire. Fortune Bay, mirror bay, gone insane, but the memory remains. Heavy rings on fingers wave, another star in my grave. See the nowhere crowd, crying nowhere cheers of honor, like twisted by night roll. I just follow ancient soul in the light of the night with a faded dream and dollar. Watching day, mirrors burn, down in sea. Watching day, mirrors.
All right. Thanks for hopping on, everybody. This is going to be a scene by scene kind of breakdown of Legends of Burkittsville 3 days before Heather left. This may be a long overdue commentary for this movie, but if you want to follow it play by play, it's streaming now, about 2 minutes, and then that's the version I'm going to watch, and then call it from there if you want to watch along. And then this rolls right into the original Blair Witch Project. If you want to watch that, I'm not going to do commentary for that or anything, but if you watch that in a row, that time should roll out to exactly 8 o'clock for the 98 Dead tapes. So that's gonna top everything off. But yeah, I feel good about this. It's going to be a good little conversation about who was who and where we shot it, and it's not going to be enough to cram in. The amount of information I could go into isn't going to fit into this one commentary. But feel free for questions anytime throughout. I'll more than happy to answer anything. Yeah, I hope some of this commentary is not going to be a disappointment for anybody. I wish it was there. I wish it was there. Some of it may not surprise you at all. But yeah, yeah. Concept to screen for Legends of Burkittsville was 20 about 10 months. Yeah, August of 20, and then premiered in May of 21. So yeah, about 9-10 months for the idea, the filming, the editing to the premiere was about nine. Yeah, a little over 9 months. All right. Countdown should compensate for between the minute and then the credits and all that good stuff. We should time out right to 8 o'clock. Oh man, just the amount of stuff that I cut out of this is crazy, but it just did not fit into that story. So it exists, but it doesn't fit. Yeah, my first attempt at the logo, but I also wanted to mirror the Haxon stuff coming towards too to kind of give it that creepy feeling. Um, yeah, this it goes kind of briefs everyone on the general story, and then this is the lore that I started to make up about contacting Lonnie about how do I get this map, and it dived a little bit deeper into that, and so it follows his story about the dude that needed one more chance to make up for things with Heather. That's in the basement of my house, just in that little storage unit or the little storage area under my steps. I thought that was, um, it was meant to mimic someone just looking out through their house and they found this tape. Like, what the heck is this? In my basement, a tape. And press play, and this is what we get. This is Matapsco Valley State Park in the Avalon area. I shoot a lot of stuff there. A lot of In Unison was filmed there. Spotting the stick man. So this was Lonnie's. Oh, there's food. Thank you. Yeah, that was Lonnie's first tip off of he's in trouble. So just taking the stick man was his invitation to be part of this now.
Actually turned out to be special to not only
So the lore of him working at Blockbuster fits in because in Heather's journal she writes about how she was a frequent of the video store and she rented this documentary. So it fits in because he works there and that would make sense, him wanting to get into movies. And he's kind of just, he had a lot of shady stuff with her in his past, and she was done dealing with him. And he knew that she was going places in the film business. So he was trying to do anything possible to get back into her circle to say, let's make movies together. And she's like, you know what? You're right, man. Like, you help me find this map that's impossible to find, and I'll get this for you. So all this is not Burkittsville. This is still Patapsco Valley State Park. Not in the part where the original was shot. This is kind of my favorite area to mimic it. So he's flirting with it here. He's in this scene. He's on the edges of the Burkittsville woods, almost a little too close. He takes the stick, takes the stick man. He doesn't go too deep into the woods. He knows they're kind of scary, but he's more focused on getting it to Heather than messing with the woods right now.
So here I'll be for the next 3 days documenting my journey to getting on the Heather down to Houston.
Yeah. So
I don't think it exists, but
he's got the timeline. We got 3 days. And that there, look for that timestamp and that noise, because that happens right again at that timestamp when they go back to the woods. I'll let you know when it pops up. Oh. And this is for some video nerds. That technology was not invented by '94, so technically that couldn't have happened. But that green shot that was not invented yet. There's Myra. Did an awesome job just sticking with it. And yeah, she's willing to help with anything. She knew really how important it was for me to finish this. So it wasn't her favorite thing to do, but she still did it, Hey, Amanda. And the scene was supposed to be Myra in bed with me to do this, We had broken up, and I still needed that scene for it to work. So I just kind of pretended that she was asleep next to me, and did that. But yeah, she was supposed to be next to me, but you could clearly tell there's no one in bed with me. And then this audio track was done on a separate VHS recording where I just held the camera near the glass of the back window and just hit record and just took branches and just made the sound right there, but just recorded it a few hours earlier and then added that audio track under it. And so when you hear that scraping, that's the real branches of against that actual glass just a couple hours earlier. And there's the first indication of disaster. You get the rocks. So as it goes through this entire movie and even to the 98 Dead tapes, once you sleep a full night and you wake up into the rocks, there's no going back. And that from that point forward, Lonnie knew he didn't know what that was at this point in the story. And technically no one did, because you wouldn't see it again until Heather went out there. In my house, the original scene of this was so much longer about where it was going, and it was intended to be a mystery where Lonnie lived, right? Like how does it take this long? Where does he live in Maryland? Actual hockey magazines from '94. This was supposed to be 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning. This was shot after we did the bridge scene with Chet in Columbia. Yeah, that's right outside of his apartment. We had some pizza together, hung out, and I was like, "See you later, man," and went in and recorded this scene. Yeah, so he's talking about his past. The story keeps getting worse and worse the more he describes it. Right now, it's I just got trashed at a house party, and I wrecked a couple things, and then as the story goes on, it's like, well, I may have hit someone, and then he goes forward like, okay, I killed a kid back in those woods, and so it's like the story keeps getting worse and worse the more he admits to it. Of that night that he wrecked Heather's car, he slipped, and for some legal loophole, he got out of it. He killed a child on that road, and however it worked out, he got away with it, and he kept living his life. But it caught up, you know. This is actually in Burkittsville, but framed for Pennsylvania. This is Pennsylvania here. That's PA. That was an awesome little store. It was closed, and then this is actually this guy's last day of work that day at Target, and he quit. And I was like, "Hey man, can I still get that scene?" he put on that flannel and then did it, and that was right near their dock at Target in Towson. Ellicott City, which is beautiful. I cannot believe more movies are not shot there. This is my mom's basement. Yeah, to make it look like it's in stores, but. Yeah, it's my mom's basement. Because remember, when this was shot, nothing was open. This was COVID. So in order to still film this to make it seem like I was in public, which you couldn't, and if you did, you definitely couldn't have a camera around, and you couldn't really film in public because everyone had masks on or something. So disguising this to take place in 1994 America during a COVID America was another. Added challenge to this, but it hasn't really fooled anyone. I mean, people still ask if this is a real, if this came from the '90s. I think a lot of people ask how I worked on the movie, and I shot it 20 years after, man. Yep, still Ellicott City. It's looked like he's all over the state, but this is still the same street of Ellicott City. That's near the Silver Diner, where they shot the original. That's in Frederick. That antique store's in Frederick. That's the picture hanging on my mom's wall. We have no idea who that is. I think she's called her Helga, I think. Pay attention to that image. I would trust throughout the rest of this. Just keep that image in mind. That conjuring of that witch. All right, that's going to be very important throughout this whole process for me. Now, this is Frederick. This is on the street of my house, near it. I just filmed the whole walk. It's just the one street, but I just kept on saying the lines over and over again. And yeah, that's in Baltimore City. That's Frederick with the owl. That was awesome looking. On the way to actual Burkittsville is that road. That is PA, and there's the Silver Rail Diner where the trio ate and the baby was held by the. Yep, that's that one. The rest stop in the Gathland State Park is that one, right in Burkittsville, basically. That's where this is. Yeah, and then a little bit of a spoiler: we do see this again tonight in the '98 Dead Tapes. That's actual Burkittsville, back to Frederick, but this is supposed to be all over the place. My mom's basement, Main Street, Frederick. I always think churches have some powerful symbol, and they could definitely heighten horror elements. Something very intensely could be terrifying about churches. So I do like to film churches in horror movies. This is in Frederick in a really awesome store called Wonder Media or Wonder Entertainment. It still opens and you can still rent movies from them. I think rent videos. It's really cool. Frederick, Main Street, Frederick again. My mom's basement. And there's Sue's. She's checking out, and Marcus.
Yeah.
Top of Federal Hill Park.
7, 8, 9 stores, 10 stores. I don't know, but just get old. That'd be fucking worth it.
This was the Francis Scott Key Mall in Frederick. Pulled over on the side there. Mom's basement with the Indian stuff. That's also very prevalent. And there's Sue's selling me the map.
Oh my god.
Yes, I know a guy that has one. I'm almost positive he has one.
Really?
Yes.
Where?
He's in Jacqueline, off 67 on Locust Road.
Locust off of 67?
Yes, in Jacqueline.
Oh wow.
Sue's did that in one take. She did a great job.
Thank you.
And there's Burkittsville. So this is when Lonnie starts to admit, oh yeah, it may have been a little bit more than just ruining others' equipment. Oh shit, that's where I got to go back. So he knows he's got to face his demons, and he knows where it's at, and he's got to go back. If that's the only way that this is going to be found. So. Now it's nearly killed a kid. So now he's got to go back. So this is all one of those things of it's gonna kind of catch up with you.
This little road is actually scientifically documented as being a dangerous place. It's like Calmer Rock. Bad shit happens down this road. Suicide attempts. Car crashes.
And this is also kind of original lore. I think it's just some of those places on Earth that are consistently being documented with paranormal weird stuff. I think is really cool. So to have this into a Blair Witch connection, I thought worked really well. And this is just in right outside Baltimore City and near the airport, just through there. Just turn the headlights off. This is in Halethorpe, right off of Route 1, kind of near Patapsco Valley State Park. But this is on a private road. This is without permits, so don't do this. And I just parked there for a little bit and kind of monologued the scene and got out of there. It wasn't dangerous. It's just I technically shouldn't have been doing it, but it's supposed to mimic where he picks up the map. But I love the way that flashlight shows up. Looks identical to the original. The way they're when they have the flashlights on in the woods. So Lonnie screws up and takes the stick man into the Native American store where they sell stuff to basically get rich off of white people. Oh, this is cute, and kind of hawk it, kind of to some of these guys. And some of it they take very serious, but they don't want to see that stick man in the store. And that guy was me. I set the camera down again and recorded walking boots in my hardwood floor, and then voiced it in and make it seem like I was the worker. Yeah, so he gets to the map. He's now officially on the way to bring death. The reason why is that people had an indication that they had to burn pretty much every copy because people are going to get continuously lost in there. So let's just eliminate them, and people will eventually just realize, okay, if there's no navigation inside these things, then it's not worth it. The baby that I found that baby in that blue store in Frederick. This was like, it was like $16 or $17 or something. And then stay with us. And then the horse was a couple of reasons. You said the horse is found laying dead, and to really hit home the horse comment that the lady in the trailer talked about in the original about you could see she was female, but she was covered in like horse fur, and that's why you hear the horse ninny, just to kind of echo some of that kind of stuff. The real 90s phone there. And this was done by Dustin Wicks. I needed him to sound like the guy who was actually filming Heather in the original. Like, hey, zoom in, man. So he's technically her roommate, and that lines up because she talks about him in her journal. So this, if you look back on all the lore, you can see she doesn't mention Lonnie in her journal. But she mentions John, and she hated John. But it would, to me, that lines up that if she was going to have anyone film her send off, would just be, hey, say, man, can you just film this for me real fast? So dig into Blair Witch lore. You'll find John was her roommate. She did rent the Occult Experience. He talks about that, and she makes a notice about how bad it was. But all this still lines up with all Blair Witch lore. Like this really could fit into canon, no problem, 100% no problem. It just goes deeper into the map, and it makes that argument when the trio have that much more guttural and animal, because Heather kind of knows, like, do you have any idea what it took to get this thing, and you threw it away? Not only are our lives in trouble, but that memento is that map that is now gone, and the sacrifice to even get that, and that a treasure of its own. I think she started to realize that was her personal thing too. Fuck, that map was a big deal. Yeah, so this is where Lonnie's trying to get confused. I've got the map, so what do I do? I know I've got to plot this thing out. I'm not just gonna wing it and hand it to her and say good luck. I need to be outstanding and and say, look, not only did I get you the map, but I've got XYZ plotted out for you. And that would just grease her wheels even, butter her up even more. But he also knows that he can't give up on Angel either. And he knows he has to do something because he has to have the happy home life with his girlfriend and his professional life. But we find out what he's more passionate about in the end. He's more passionate about himself and his profession. And we see that he drugged Angel to do it. And this is a very shady place to shoot at night. Not gonna lie, I didn't want to be there, but it looks awesome. And there's where Chet was helping me out on the bridge. You can see he's the shape on the bridge. And this is supposed to be Crybaby Bridge. And if you do listen, there is a baby crying. You can hear it. I did put a baby crying.
Crybaby Bridge. Picture their baby's crying. You listen to those folks over there.
Yeah. Barely. Yeah. And there's Chet. So it's just shape of who the hell is that?
Who the hell is that?
Fuck. You don't see it, but he kind of brushed by and then he was gone. And then that was Lonnie's indication to get out.
I gotta go home.
And is it worth it? This was a decision. So much about this. Should he just start drinking again and say, screw it? Got it. Time's ticking down. He's got a day and a half now to figure this out. What's one little drink going to do? But no, puts it away. Sober for another day. But now as time's going on, the manifestations are getting worse. And also this is another one of those where I had to pretend Myra was in bed next to me and she wasn't. And this is another one of the separate audio tracks of me kicking the door, that exact door, just to have that's what that sound would be like if someone was in there. So it's nothing no trickery. It's like if someone was hit that sound, then of course the internet goes down. I would legit shit my pants if I heard someone banging on the opposite side of the door in real life. I'd be out of the house. And at this point, Myra and I were also broken up, so I had to say that she was in the shower. The original script called that we were getting ready together and, getting ready to head out together. So I had to, we never shot that scene, so I had to say that she was in the shower. But Baltimore City residents would know this looks way too modern, but I had to throw in some dialogue to show that the Camden Yards was new, but all it didn't look like this in '94. But if you're not from Baltimore, you're not going to know that. This was, if you don't, the reason why you don't see a lot of people, this was 100% peak COVID time. We probably shouldn't have been out, but that's what it was. It was just a nice day in October, and it was just being humans, man. So we just got out there, regardless of, you're not supposed to be out. This took a lot of different takes. Kept on just fumbling over the words. None of it seemed to count. But this is on top of Federal Hill Park. Same day. It was very warm, and I lucky to find some trees that looked a different color because everything was still so green because of how warm it was. And I had to find the few orange ones to kind of throw in there and make it look like this was fall time. It was just unusually warm for October. Yeah, see, dominoes. Yeah, you can see the harbor place is vacant. This is darn COVID. That was like an inside joke because of how filthy that water is. So she's like, "Get the water. It's beautiful. It's disgusting." The song in the background. This is Cross Street Market, but this was after they 100% renovated it. This did not look like this in '94 in the market. But the song in the background is important because it's called, I think it's called Your Pusher Man. So it's a song about your drug dealer. So it's playing when she pushes the drugs on Angel. A lot of eagle-eyed people say, "What is that car doing there?" '94. That slipped my mind. This is Black Rock Road in Seneca Creek State Park, right in Germantown, and people's houses 100 yards behind us, straight up. Yep. But it looks like we're diving deep into the woods. There is the shed. Keep that in mind for tonight's movie. And Angel kind of tossing up. There's 3 versions of this wake up too, and I'm glad I stuck with this one because there was a version where Lonnie was a lot more sinister and a lot more exact, and he was a little bit more intentionally sneaky. So I think him kind of trying to be a good guy worked a lot better because he's driven on 2 things. He wants Angel to be happy and love him, but I think he's a little bit more concerned about Heather in the map right now. So he's completely out of his mind to drug his girlfriend and take her in these woods where she's already terrified. She is completely terrified. And when she finds out that she's actually in those woods is when she goes berserk and she speaks her native language. And she's just like, "I can't believe I am this stupid to fall for this." And that's what she's saying in Spanish. Like, I cannot believe I'm this stupid to fall for this from this guy. Like, this is crazy. Yeah, I can't believe you. I can't believe I fell for this. But no matter what, and Lonnie's like, "Well, so it's how much that's worth to him, and so now he's gonna do damage control, and because she knows that these woods are not to be messed with. There's a cultural thing to her, and to just she firmly believes that she's gonna die if she stays in these woods, and so she needs to figure it out to get out. But she was right. And this, "Don't tell me to relax." That's what she's saying in Spanish. "Don't tell me to relax" comes from really one of my favorite lines from Mike delivered in the original, when he just screams it like, "Don't fucking tell me to relax." Like when they're trying to calm him down, like we're lost in the middle of the woods and you're trying to tell me to relax. I just loved that reaction he had. Didn't stage this either. This sleeping bag was there, and a welcome little prop. This is at the beginning of it, right at the park, but this is where the fly fishermen were in the original, fishing right off of that. I'm talking about Robin Weaver in the woods. All on the same trail. This is really close to everything. But man, it looks like you're in the middle of nowhere. And also pay attention to the lower left of these dates. It throws you off, but just you got to pay attention to how this this lines up with the lore of you getting lost in time and space when you get into these woods. It's okay now, but just keep in mind those time glitches happen. Coffin Rock. This is a big deal in all three movies. 3 Days Before Heather Left, 98 Dead Tapes, and the original. See, Halloween night of '91. They're walking through right now. August 31st of '93 is the day he killed that kid, and he doesn't realize that's what's happening, but he's kind of reliving that day. And there's that sound, 10/17/94, of him on the edge, so that he was very close to running into his future self the day he was reading about that day if he was sober. You can hear it in the background. So he was this close to actually running into his future self and Angel had he gotten a little closer. But now it's this deep realization that he's kind of, his chest feels a little empty. And since they went to Coffin Rock, it's something happened, but he knows it's not him. Angel's kind of still delirious and a little blurry, but she's not acting right. He knows something's wrong. So he thinks the counter thing to do would be to crush it, because if that's what started it, let me just crush it, burn it, whatever I got to do. But I'm sick of it, and this can't be real. Or this can't be really happening to me, kind of thing. So he knows it's something's wrong now. Inherently, you got to stay out, Heather. It doesn't matter. Heather was going to go anyway. The sky could have fallen, and Heather was so determined to get out there and make this damn movie that it didn't matter. So he's leaving her message after message, but she's probably passed out of sleep, exhausted. And this is, we don't know if this is angels or the manifestation, or if we're going to call her the witch in the house. We don't know quite who's laughing. But when we turn on the night vision and we see, just remember that's it's got to be important with the cape coming up. And Lonnie zooming in on her at the store saying, like, this is who I'm supposed to be afraid of? She doesn't look so tough. Yeah. Winged cape up, just in the corner. Someone's doing something. So just remember that too. Of being in the corner thing is also prevalent in the lore. Lonnie reverts to Bibles and crucifixes as a last ditch resort of somebody save me. So it's his little SOS. And then since his official director's commentary, what you don't see is Angel, and she is in fact headless. So how did Angel die was through decapitation. We don't know how, but any police person would say it was clearly the boyfriend. He's a filmmaker, got crazy, made a little video about how it wasn't him, but that's what he saw, the headless Angel. But he also is possessed. He went in the woods, taunted, thought he was bigger than everything, and now he's so committed to whatever is that he's wearing white on white. He's trying to be a chameleon and blend in. He shaved his facial hair off. He's trying to just cloak and disappear. So the white shirt on white was his going chameleon, going camouflage. But Angel's corpse is still there during all of this, but he's so bent on telling Heather not to go in to create more blood. Like, I killed a kid a long time ago. I got away with it. Now my girlfriend is dead. Suicide for some reason is not an answer. This guy just has to disappear and go away until tonight. 98 Dead Tapes. So Lonnie returns tonight at 8:00. And business picks up right here. So what I'm going to do now is cut off and play Blair Witch Project. So thank you so much for everybody joining. This was a lot of fun. Rewatch again if and on J Jinx Films. But thanks again.